Again, the main feature is this large area of high pressure. It's keeping southern parts quiet and settled with only light winds, and that means to say a fair bit of fog around night and morning, some of it even lingering throughout the day. Many more isobars further north, so it's windy there, and there are these frontal systems that keep brushing across from time to time to bring along some outbreaks of rain. But basically, over most parts of the country, the winds are at least in the southwest, so that's coming in from a fairly mild direction. Reasonably clear skies over most of Europe, incidentally, but if you look down towards southern Spain and the Algarve, those areas have had a fair amount of cloud recently, and some quite heavy rain, for instance, at some of the resorts overnight, 25 millimetres, that's about an inch or so. And further to the north, over Scotland and into Scandinavia, there's some thicker cloud. That's one of those fronts I just showed you a while ago. So the continental scene is rather like southern parts of Britain. A lot of fog around, some of it persisting right the way through the day, scattering of showers in some of those western parts of the Mediterranean, much more unsettled in Scandinavia and across into Russia, although even there it will be turning milder. Now today we've had a lot of mist and fog around in the southeastern half of England. That's been very reluctant to clear. I think some of it's going to hang around right through the afternoon, but in some places it will continue to thin. There'll be a little bit of brightness coming along, but many areas staying quite grey and misty, and certainly I think around some of those southern and western coasts. Northern Ireland and Scotland, more in the way of cloud. Most places they're dry, but in western Scotland, northern Scotland, there'll be some rain or drizzle from time to time. It's very different there. Light winds in the south, but the wind up to gale force off that northwestern corner of Scotland. But a mild day virtually everywhere, except that is in the southeastern corner of the country, where that mist and fog is lingering and will hold the temperatures down. Now during this evening and tonight across the north of the country, it remains pretty breezy. Still that wind up to gale force in the north of Scotland, but as you see here, very little wind at all in the south, and that means to say that once again, more particularly in the southeastern half of England, it will turn misty, and that'll be thickening up into some nasty patches of fog. Some thicker cloud near western and northern parts, spot or two of drizzle, rather more in the way of rain across that northwestern corner of Scotland. Fairly mild in most areas, although the temperatures could drop down to about 3 or 4 degrees in the south. Now, as I said, very little's changing, so there's tomorrow's chart, there's Friday's chart. Still fronts moving close to the north of the country, so it is going to be more or less that northwestern slice that continues to be fairly breezy in the next few days, with some rain from time to time. Most other areas stay dry, and again there's going to be a lot of fog around in central and eastern parts, some of it pretty reluctant to clear. Once it does, for a time it will brighten up, a little bit of sunshine here and there. And then moving into the weekend, again the high pressure still there, dominating the scene. Perhaps by then the fog's spreading a little bit further northwards, but very little changing. It is the northwest